We want change, we want change, we want change, I want change. On December 17th, 2010, a young man named Mohamed Bouazizi was going off to work in a town called Sidi Bouzid in the country of Tunisia. He was a produce vendor that worked hard every day for his income. But on this December morning, after many harassing encounters with policemen in the town, Mohammed was stopped and his belongings were taken from him. When Mohammed tried to protest this, one of the police officers slapped him across the face. Mohammed went to the government building to complain about this, but he got no response and was sent away. Now, in an act of desperation and frustration, he drenched himself in paint thinner and he lit himself on fire. Heartbroken and infuriated by this act, the people of Tunisia began to protest their government. And within a couple of months, the dictator of Tunisia was thrown out. Now Tunisia is in the process of creating a new constitution and having its first democratically elected government in a long time. As you heard at the beginning, my name is Terrence Jansen, and today I'd like to share with you some ideas about effective protesting. Last year in 2011, a popular magazine named Time magazine chose yet again their Person of the Year. But this time, instead of choosing a wealthy business person or a celebrity, they chose the protester. This came as a surprise to many people. Many viewed protests as gatherings of overly enthusiastic and unrealistically idealistic people. They saw it as child's play, all the while forgetting the important role that protests played in major movements in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. It seemed that protesting was out of the spotlight for about 2 to 3 decades, but with the uprisings in the Middle East, which resulted in the overthrowing of 2 dictatorships, protesting was back in fashion. Now, right about now, you may be asking yourself, okay, they protested, but what made those protests successful? What makes any protest successful? Well, today I'd like to share with you 3 qualities that I think are important to a good and successful protest. The first quality that I'd like to share with you today is unity of purpose. What is unity of purpose and why is it important? Well, unity of purpose is having every member of a protest or a movement united in a common cause. Why is this important? Because when protesting, you're trying to make the world conscious of an issue or a cause. Now, if every member of the protest is trying to make the world conscious of a different cause, your protest is bound to fail, because no one knows what the real cause is. So having unity of purpose is very important. To illustrate this even further, I'd like to tell you a little story. Last year, my school decided to implement a new rule. This rule stated that all boys have to wear their t-shirts inside their pants. As you can imagine, a lot of boys were not happy with this rule, and there was talk of protesting. A group of kids started to walk towards the principal's office, but with every step they took, the group shrunk in size. And when it arrived in front of the principal's door, there was one single person. For those of you who are curious, no, that person was not me. Many of the students who walked the path to the principal's office changed their minds. They had no conviction and were not united in the cause of voicing their opinion about the new rule. Rather, they were united in their anger and emotion. This was the wrong kind of unity, and for that reason, their protest was not successful. So again, it is very important to have unity of purpose and to have the right kind of unity of purpose as well. Now, the next quality I'd like to share with you today is patience. This might sound ironic or even paradoxical to some people. How can a protest have patience? Protesting is about demanding what you want right now. You can't have patience. But it is true. Why must the protest have patience, you may ask? Because success is a long-term process, not an event. See, the process of getting a social problem on society's agenda, winning a large majority and subsequently achieving true change occurs over a long period of time. You cannot expect one protest to change things immediately. To use an analogy, we can compare a protest to a single battle in a war. Just because you have won one battle does not automatically mean that you have won the war. Likewise, one successful protest does not guarantee concise and immediate action. Rather, it must be used as a tool to help inspire that action. And many successful protests or movements throughout the course of time have used protesting as such a tool. Those who haven't have seen the result, mostly a failed protest, like the one at my school. If the students had only had the patience to treat the battle against the management of the school as a long-term process and had used protesting as one tool in that battle, they would have achieved their goal. Once again, it is very important to have patience in a protest or a social movement. Now, the third and final quality I'd like to share with you today is communication and information. Providing the world with the right information about your protest is very essential. Activists around the world are now using social media sites like Facebook and Twitter to broadcast their message and reach prospective candidates. Social media is so important that it has even created a new kind of protesting. People are now creating blogs and different pages specifically to boycott certain things. Now, going back to the example at my school one last time, I have to say that those who wanted to protest were smart in this aspect. They created a Facebook page and started to spread their message across the internet. But unfortunately, their campaign was not extensive enough. You see, protesting is back in fashion. People all over the world are hitting the streets, protesting, trying to bring about true change. On Curaçao, we have seen a couple of protests here and there, but nothing on a large scale. So if you, youth of Curaçao, want to protest, please do. Exercise your right to democracy, and remember to protest in a united group, to be patient, and to use the technology at your disposal to communicate your information clearly. Thank you.